Welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our journey to 250,000 subscribers. And we're almost there, thanks to you. So if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button. And with 4 days out, share with a friend. So yesterday, Vance went on Joe Rogan. All right. And once again, Jd Vance manages to offend even more people. The two of them, between Jd Vance and Von Schitzenpants, is there a single group that they are not going to insult? And let me be very clear when it comes to Joe Rogan, and you've heard me talk about him on this show and others. He's not a guy who backed down. He's not a guy who just started like Hannity throwing Trump or Vance softballs. He actually asks them questions and he holds them to account. So he spoke, and I'm talking about Jd Vance, spoke about, and this is the quote, normal gay men. You can't make this stuff up. Again, quote, normal gay men. What's he talking about? Play the clip.
And I think that, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if me and Trump won just the normal gay guy vote. Because, again, they just wanted to be left the hell alone. And now you have all this crazy stuff on top of it. That
Really? First of all, I've never heard anybody refer to men in the LGBTQ plus community as normal gay men. I don't even understand where he's trying to go. And by the way, you're talking about two individuals that are already because of their Supreme Court, because of the Dobbs decision, already interfering in LGBTQ plus rights outside of the women. Here's what, for example, Anderson Cooper, CNN, a gay man, had to say about this comment. Play the clip.
To know what the different, where the line is between a normal gay person and a not normal gay person.
I mean, the question is,
I'm assuming I can guess what it is, like, anything related to drag, I guess, in that drag, wearing as much makeup as Donald Trump wears, that would be considered not normal. It's fine for Donald Trump, but on a gay guy, that wouldn't be considered normal.
the other.
Yeah, I don't even know why they're laughing about it. It's insulting on every single level that there is. And you know what? I feel bad for Anderson Cooper. I really do. I feel bad because he even has to defend this type of a stupid comment. If you're gay, you're gay. This decision by Jd Vance and Donald Trump to make a determination on what is and what is not normal, what level of your participation in the LGBTQ plus community is acceptable, what is not acceptable. I don't even know how to respond to something as weird, as grotesque, as offensive as what Jd Vance said. And the worst part is when Vance is saying it, he's saying it with a smirk and a smile, almost as if he knows, and I don't think he does, but almost as if he knows that he's going to be barking up a tree that you just can't climb. Meanwhile, Jd Vance goes and he speaks to Joe Rogan about COVID vaccines. I mean, and if we remember, right, this is what he said, that they made you feel a bit ill after getting it. This is truly right up Trump's alley. This is right up RFK Jr. alley. This, again, is dangerous to America. It was dangerous to the world at the time. Play the clip.
I took the vax, and I haven't been boosted or anything, but the moment where I really started to get red pilled on the whole vax thing was the sickest that I've been in the last 15 years by far was when I took the vaccine. And I've had COVID at this point 5 times. I was in bed for 2 days. My heart was racing. I was like, the fact that we're not even allowed to talk about that, even, no like serious injury, but even the fact that we're not even allowed to talk about the fact that I was as sick as I've ever been for 2 days, and the worst COVID experience I had was like a sinus infection. I'm not really willing to trade that. And
wait, you're not allowed to talk about it, but there you are, right there on the show, talking about it. Really? Who's stopping you? The COVID police, right? The military that Donald Trump intends was SEAL Team 6 to employ to stop you from talking about how you felt after you received the COVID vaccination. By the way, you're not supposed to feel good after it. In fact, every year I go for the flu vaccination. And what they do is they give you a small strain of that flu, right? And so your body builds up the antibodies in order to prevent you from getting sicker. Now, how do we know that what he's even saying is true, that this is the sickest that he's ever been, to be in bed for 2 days? I want each and every one of you just to think about, what was the sickest that you've ever been? Have you not had a flu that knocked you on your ass for a couple of days? But Jd Vance, he's a superpower guy. He's never had anything, though he's had it in the most that he's ever had to deal with is 2 days, and his heart was racing and so on after he took this COVID vaccination, which went ahead and made him finally start to think, which is a good thing. Him thinking, right? It makes no sense at all. Again, what they're doing is they're trying to justify a position that they know is illegitimate. And the way that you do that is you give personal anecdotes on things that nobody can prove or disprove, other than to say, I have to look at my own personal experience. Is the sickest I've ever been is to be in bed for 2 days with my heart palpitating? The answer is no. And nobody has, except for, of course, Von Schitz and Pants and Jd Vance. Because then JD goes on, and as he's talking with Joe, they decide to talk about another topic, which is beating the piss out of them at the polls. Most probably one of the top 3 reasons why they are going to lose this election. And I'm talking about Roe versus Wade. Play the clip.
Like the concept in the zeitgeist is that abortion had always been, Roe v. Wade had always been the law of the land, and then all of a sudden that was taken away, and you have these religious men who are trying to dictate what women can and can't do with their bodies.
Yeah. No, look, I mean, again, I understand that. I understand the pushback against that, but I think you can go, like with so many other issues, you can go way too far about it, and it becomes trying to celebrate something that at the very best, if you grant, I think, every argument of the pro-choice side, it is a neutral thing, not something to be celebrated.
I think there's very few people that are celebrating, though.
Yeah, I agree with Joe, what he continued to say. I don't believe people are celebrating the idea of getting an abortion, of being pro-choice. I don't think that that's what they're celebrating. I think that people have a right to make a determination as to their own body, what takes place in a bedroom. What they're trying to say is that there are minorities that are using abortion as birth control. This is a debunked lie. This is a way, once again, to justify the whacked out position that they have for 50 plus years. Roe versus Wade was stare decisis. It was the law of the land until Trump and Vance come in with their theocracy and with their folks that have been pushing to overturn Roe for at least the last 50 years. And again, justification as to why. That's all that they're doing here. Now, finally, Rogan goes on a rant, an absolute rant, saying that the government should not control women's bodies. Should not. He's not going to just do like what Sean Hannity or Fucker Carlson do, which is just to accept the comments that are being made by whether it's Vance or by Trump or any of the other Republican surrogates on Trump's behalf, the sycophants, the acolytes. No. He's taking a position which I think everybody should take, except for, of course, Trump, Vance, and their followers. Government has no business in controlling a woman's body. They should not be controlling their uteruses. They should not be controlling their decisions. They should not be controlling women at all. Play the clip.
One of the issues is that men are making decisions for what women can and can't do.
I hear that.
And one of the more concerning aspects of this is, like, say if you live in a state like Texas, where there's a limit to when you can get an abortion. I think it's like 6 weeks, which a lot of people think at that point in time, you can't even tell whether or not you're pregnant. And this puts a lot of women in like very vulnerable positions. And then there's this thought that they could go to another state where it is legal and have an abortion, but they could be possibly prosecuted for that in their state. That's concerning to me, that we can make, if there's a place in the country where it's legal to have a medical procedure and you live in a state where it's not legal, that your state can decide what you can and can't do with your body, which is essentially based on a religious idea. And a lot of I'm not criticizing it one way or another, but I'm saying that a lot of what this choose life thing is about, that life is precious and life is sacred and life begins at the moment of conception. And some people agree with this, but other people disagree with this. And it seems to be a lot of it is based in religion. My concern is using that to dictate whether or not a person can legally travel to another state. I don't think the government should be monitoring where you travel or what you do when you travel, as long as that thing is legal. And I'm concerned with this idea that you could be prosecuted for it in your state for doing something that's legal somewhere else.
I don't like the idea, to be clear. I've not heard of this maybe as like a possibility, but not as something that actually exists in the law. But I've not heard of somebody being arrested, and I don't like the idea of arresting people for moving about the country. I haven't heard of them doing it
either. I've heard of the discussion.
I've heard as a threat.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a discussion that Jd Vance and Trump continue to promote, whether it's at their rallies or at their interviews and so on. The fact that he's, again, lying to Rogan's face. He's lying to Rogan's audience. He is lying to each and every one of us. I've never heard of it. I mean, talk about following Trump's deny playbook. You can't deny what you've said, because when you say it in today's society, everything is recorded. When he turns around and he says that they want to prosecute, that they want to create an app that basically follows a woman's cycle. Think about it. In fact, there are even articles that were talking about dogs who are able to, for example, sniff out cocaine, marijuana, heroin, that they can actually teach dogs in order to smell a woman's hormone. I mean, this is crazy stuff, that they would have these dogs walking around, for example, airports or train stations, to ensure that a woman, when she's leaving, is not leaving pregnant and doesn't come back pregnant or remaining pregnant. This is crazy stuff. This is right out of some dystopian Handmaid's Tale nonsense. And again, with 4 days out, there is no time to waste. Make sure that you are registered to vote. So go to vote.org. I say this on every episode. Go to vote.org, confirm that you're registered, and make sure on November 5th that you vote, starting with Harris Walz 2024 and straight down the entire Democratic ticket. Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. I mean, we're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.